listening to Reality Wrap. I'm your host, Melanie. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. Hey guys, hope you guys are all doing great today. Well, Love Bean.
Hey, Love Bean, how are you?
Love Bean. Love Bean.
Love Bean.
Oh, I wanted to smack Mauricio last night.
I wanted to throw up.
Love Bean.
Love Bean.
Ugh. If you haven't guessed, we will be recapping The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 13, Episode 1 that premiered last night. Overall, I would say it was a solid premiere. I didn't find it super interesting. I actually found the Watch What Happens Live more interesting last night with Kyle. Not Teddy, but Kyle was interesting.
Agreed, yeah. I watched a little bit before I couldn't take any more, but I thought the episode was good. It was a good setup episode.
Yeah.
I don't know that you're going to get explosions on the opening episode.
Right out of the gate? I love a good explosion right out of the gate.
Yeah. Well, we didn't get that.
No,
we did
not
not get that yesterday. But I think we got a good foundation, a good setup. Everyone's kind of coming. It was like the first day back to school.
Yeah.
You know?
Kind of a slow.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on? No real drama.
Yeah.
You know?
So we had a bunch of news come out yesterday about PK. First, it came out that PK owes $1 million to the IRS. And then there was an article that came out right before the episode premiered last night that PK and Dorit were separated. Then today, an article came out that basically it was a statement from them saying that they were not separated.
Right. Why ruin next year's story?
Yeah, so who knows if they're actually separated and they just came out and made that statement because
my guess
they don't
is
want
they
to
are
ruin
separated, but that's going to be...
Right, give it 6 months. Then
Exactly.
they'll be, yeah.
Then they can film the separation.
Well, that and maybe they didn't want to, because if they were hiding the separation during the season, I don't know that Bravo would like that. So
Sure.
they could have
Yeah.
made that statement because otherwise we're watching a season that, you know...
Once
again, like with Kyle and Mauricio, they didn't announce their separation until the season had finished wrapping, so I don't know. But the fact that he owes $1 million to the IRS, and he's already, I think he had to claim bankruptcy over in the UK, or he was running from some money debts over in the UK, so he came to the US, and now he owes the US all this money. I can't imagine that isn't stressful on their marriage.
Yeah, money problems. Money is the number one reason for divorce.
Yeah, look at Kim and Croy.
Yeah.
I mean, they owe $1 million to the... I mean, obviously, yeah.
There's a few things going
Kim
on
is,
there. It's not just money.
Yeah, she's a whole nother
A
story.
whole lot of crazy going on.
But yeah, I mean, I think their final downfall was just the fact that they were having serious financial issues. So their house actually goes up for a foreclosure auction on the 7th of November. So that's coming up.
Yeah. Here we go.
Anyways, so on Watch What Happens Live last night, Andy asked Kyle about her separation from Mo. She shares that they are still living together, but they are in separate bedrooms. She gave him the primary bedroom because it is masculine, and the upper level is her glam area, and it's all pink and velvet.
So they're already starting amicably, which...
Yeah, she did say that it was amicable.
Yeah, they should continue down that path.
Yeah.
I mean, he seems like he was not faithful. You know, and
well, no, there were a lot
of people that
of rumors over the years.
That so only one of them needed to be true, right? Only one needed to be true.
Yeah,
and that's kind of the problem with old Mauricio there.
Yeah, but so she says that she was the one who initiated the separation, which doesn't surprise me. Maybe he got caught, or she got wind of another cheating scandal within the last year, and she was kind of like, you know what, fuck this, I'm out. Kids are old. I'm out. Who knows what the reason is, but obviously this is where they are. It sounds like they're done. Like they're not going to reconcile. Probably just a matter of actually filing for divorce and moving out of the house together that they share together.
Sell their assets, liquidate them, split it however they want to.
Yeah. Andy then did ask about the photo that was going around where Mauricio was holding hands with his dance partner from Dancing with the Stars. And she's like, I don't know what was going on between them, but obviously something is if they're holding hands. It really did hurt my feelings, and that is why I deleted my support of, Dancing with the Stars and him being on it, although she did still vote for him. Then, funny enough, Mauricio came out today on Instagram with his dance partner, and they basically said, no, we were just in a really stressful, emotional week. and we just went straight from
We were in
dancing.
workout
we were in
clothes.
workout
Yeah,
clothes. We're
that
just
was-
friends.
That's what cinched it for me. How could there be?
How could they be
anything?
cheating
How
or
could they?
not cheating? But how could they be sleeping together if they were in workout clothes straight from their dance thing? And he said he was just grabbed her hand, and that of course all the stories. got
Mauricio
picked
just
up.
needs to shut.
Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe
Bro,
they
just stop.
said that because she might get in trouble.
She might get in trouble with her show.
Yeah,
'cause
they might kick her off of the show for sleeping with.
a contestant.
Yeah.
Or just fraternize.
Or maybe they really are friends,
Maybe
but
they
it's
didn't.
just
It's just too uncomfortable, and they're like, "Look, we'll just fire you. There's 35 dancers
in
right
line.
outside that door.
Yeah, exactly.
Who are just as talented as you. We don't need your behavior.
Yeah.
We don't need this drama. Or if it helps ratings and people watch it, then nothing happens.
Or
Who knows?
Maybe he does feel some sort of an attraction. Maybe that was like their first thing that he did, was he just like grabbed her hand. They might not be knocking boots yet, but maybe he was flirting with her and grabbed her hand. I don't know.
Meanwhile, Kyle was at home putting the red light on her face. You were showing me that.
Yeah.
That gimmick.
It's not a gimmick.
Huge.
It works. Look at my skin is glowing.
You are young because you are young.
Yeah, so who knows what's going on there. I don't really care. I mean, clearly these two aren't together. Whether or not Kyle's with Morgan or not, I kind of don't believe it. I think it's probably just a friendship. I know a lot of people are convinced that they're in some sort of a romantic relationship, but I don't know. She's like 25 years older than this girl, so that'd be kind of gross. Although men do it all the time, so whatever. Anyway, that is about all the news. There was a lot of news, actually, about them right before the season premiere. And who knows if that was all released on purpose, just to get buzz going about the premiere. But it was a lot of information.
Yeah, it was, and thankfully so, because I think it did help put a lot of context behind yesterday's episode.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's go ahead and start with this episode. So we're over at Dorit's house.
Dorit's retreat.
Yeah, oh God. And I related with PK so hard here when he was in the kitchen and he was shoving chips from 2 different flavors into his mouth.
I now know what the P stands for in PK.
What?
Purple lips.
Yeah. That is something's going on with his lips. His lips are like purple.
Purple or
so either he
red.
was drinking red wine.
Like, were you drinking grape juice or something right before the
Yeah.
cameras? Like a kid drinking grape juice.
Yeah, but then even later on,
They were like a weird red then.
Yeah, they were
like,
still like a weird color later on in the
It's
episode.
like human lips aren't supposed to look
No,
like that.
it was weird. But I also think he has filler in his lips. Because he's like got really thin lips, and you could see like his upper lip. Look, when we watch next week, look at his upper lip. His upper lip, you could tell he has a very thin upper lip, and now it's kind of like poofy.
Yeah.
You guys, next week, look at PK's lips.
Yeah,
and
we all
see if you agree with me. If you
That's
think
an
he's
action
had
item
filler.
for us
An
to-
action item for you guys. Anyway, so Dorit has decided that she's going to have a healing event with Eagle Woman and Blue Raven. And so here we go again with another healing retreat. And what did you call it? Dorit's retreat?
Dorit's retreat, yeah.
So they meet with Eagle Woman and Blue Raven. Nothing really happens there. And we see all the women getting ready, and they're heading to the event. In the car, it was Sutton and Garcelle were riding together, right?
Yes.
When Garcelle was like, Eagle Woman, is that her real name? That's not her government issue name. I was like, oh my
First
God,
off, your
Sutton,
government doesn't issue a name.
Yeah, but that
Right?
is...
This isn't 1984.
I thought that was
Mom and Dad
offensive.
issue your name. Yeah, I thought that was funny.
I
It's
was
a government
like,
issue
she's
name.
Native American. That's a Native American name. That's probably her
And with
real
all due
name.
respect, America has a lot of crazy names here in our country too, right?
Yeah.
There's easily, you can go to any pocket and find a oddly named person. So it's like,
I know. I was like, Garcelle. What? You keep
I
saying
like
that.
it though. Whatever. She's not, but she's always like that. She just kind of speaks her no
mind.
filter. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that she doesn't get upset when other people speak their mind.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. I like Garcelle. So far.
Oh no, I like Garcelle.
Yeah,
I just
I like
couldn't
her.
believe she said
I
that.
find her to be refreshing. I think that was a little over the top, maybe a little rude, but she really does just speak her mind. And so I think she's really good at being a natural person.
So they all start arriving, and Sutton tells them that she just bought a horse from the Netherlands, and that she bought the horse because she connected with it by looking at its eyes over the internet. And so she put it on her Amex card.
SpongeBob's crazy. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
It's nice. She'll probably take very, very nice care of that horse,
Yeah.
even though it's in the Netherlands. Right?
Well, they're going to fly it over. People buy horses all over the world and have them shipped. Or they might even ship it over by boat. I mean, when I worked on Mackinac Island, we would bring the horses over from the mainland on a ferry. I mean, that was it was like an hour-long ferry ride. So, but yeah, I mean, you can totally ship animals on planes or cargo planes, probably. Erica arrives, and as she's walking up to the group, she says she feels like she is alone on her own island because Rinna is gone now. So she feels like she doesn't really have a friend in the group anymore. She comes in and everybody comments on how skinny she is, and she claims that she lost weight when she went on to hormones, which...
Then Dorit very succinctly jumped in and did two things that were impressive. Do you spell it
O-Z?
Right. First off, she spelt it correctly, which I was like, way to go. But then I thought the dig was beautiful. Oh, is that hormone called Ozempic?
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Exactly. I thought that was really
Her
good.
confessionals
Why
this
lie?
episode.
Why? Everyone knows everyone's on Ozempic right
Same
now.
with Kyle, though. Kyle swears up and down she wasn't on it. I don't care. I think they both look great. I don't care if you took Ozempic or not. I really do not care if you take Ozempic or not.
It just makes it look worse.
It's just silly.
When you don't admit it.
Yeah. Anyways, who cares, Erica? Whatever you say. You got skinny at the
same time. I will say this. Erica, when she did the talking head and she was in that gold dress, that like in her hair, and she had the metal makeup on her face, I was like, she's starting to look like a cross between Cher and Alice Cooper at this point.
She shouldn't lose any more weight. So they all come out to the healing circle and they're drumming and whatever. I don't think I could probably go to one of those. I would have like busted out laughing, I think.
I think we all would have probably married that one and just sat in the bus and ate a fish sandwich.
Oh, married, like being married, yeah. I don't think I feel close enough to you, Emily.
I don't feel close enough to anyone to do this.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to sit here and eat my McDonald's. Yeah. So they take turns going around the circle. Dorit goes first and tells Erica that she was really hurt by Erica last year at BravoCon when Erica was asked who would be the next couple to divorce, and she answered Dorit and PK. And Erica's like, well, I didn't want to answer the question, but because I'm a showman, I had to give the people what they wanted. So I walked out there and I said PK and Dorit. And then she asks Dorit if her marriage is strong.
That was a smart question to ask because it's a double-edged sword. So the way she asked it, so tell me, is your marriage strong with him? Because if she said no, Erica would have been like, well, then I didn't lie. But if she said yes, which she did say, then Erica said, well, then you have nothing to worry about. Why do you care what I say? So by Erica saying that, there was no way Erica was going to lose. I'm pretty sure Dorit missed that. But I was thinking about that when she said that. I was like, oh, that's pretty slick how she did that because Erica posed the question that way. Because no matter what Dorit was going to say,
I mean,
Erica had the
she's
way.
Definitely smart.
She's very smart. Probably the smartest on the show.
I don't think she had anything to do with what her husband was doing, but I think.
Oh, that's a whole show by itself, in my opinion.
Turned a blind eye to it. In a confessional, Sutton tells us that she's never heard of anything between PK and Dorit except for the night when PK got his DUI. She heard that there might have been a woman in the car. And then Dum Dum Teddy on Watch What Happens Live last night said that she looked into the police report and it stated that PK was alone in the car. And why would she believe Sutton, who carries a bottle of vodka around in her purse? And Andy's face was kind of like, what the fuck, Teddy? I don't think he found it very funny. I think she was bombing last night on Watch What Happens Live. Like, everything she said, the audience was just, like, quiet.
Teddy, unfortunately, doesn't seem to have the right charisma.
No.
For people.
Yeah.
And
in general.
yeah. I mean, there's just something about her. Yeah. Right? And because even, I liked her for that first season. She seemed okay. Until she made like an entire season about getting blown off at lunch or something like that. I just couldn't take anymore.
Yeah, she's just boring.
She's a very boring human being.
So Dorit tells Erica that her marriage is very strong and that Erica was just hurting last year, so she was lashing out at everybody. And then Erica tells the group, I was getting hit from all sides and I just needed a moment to catch my breath. And I just was taking it out on all of you. And then she apologizes to all of them for being rough on them, which I thought she started crying.
So with Erica's apology, I thought that that was the first. I was wondering if it was acted because I told you I think
she's a good showman. She just said
very good showman. Yeah. And then the other thing is she was talking about her feelings and all this during how people were getting screwed over and everything. Who cares about your feelings?
Well, okay,
you spent that money happily. You didn't have any. She would brag about the outfits and the wigs and the makeup. I saw those seasons, right? And so other people were being robbed to fund that lifestyle.
In her defense, not that I'm defending her, but I'm just saying, according to her, she had no idea that was happening, whether she really knew that or not. So that was kind of her thing, is like she was getting all this shit from all sides that she was supposedly just finding out about. She had lawsuit after lawsuit. People were coming after her assets because the stuff, even though they were gifts, it was bought with stolen money from her husband. So she was getting hammered from all sides. She was also drinking, and she was on medication, which didn't mix with alcohol. So Lexapro, yeah. So, like I said, I'm not defending her by any means. And then when she was finding out all this information, instead of like being sympathetic towards these victims, she kind of was like, well, I'm a victim too. She didn't really acknowledge the other victims until much later. So, I don't know. Whatever. Who knows? Kyle goes next, and I couldn't tell if she was saying this directly to Erica or she was saying this to the whole group, but she says that all the stuff that went on last season with Kathy and what Rinna had said, about Kathy, and saying that Kathy said all this horrible shit about everybody and how she was coming for Kyle's family, this put it strained the relationships on everybody in the group. And at the reunion, when she was clearly upset about what was going on between her and Kathy and what was going on with Rinna and Kathy, and nobody came over to her to comfort her. And she tells us in her talking head that she expected more from Sutton and Dorit because she knew them the longest. Garcelle makes a good point and says, I felt for you, but I was also confused because you were not going after the people who were coming for your sister. And Kyle tells us in her talking head that Garcelle doesn't seem to understand that Kathy created all this by coming for her first. And that Kyle always feels like Kathy calls and, is attacking or yelling or whatever, and it makes her feel like a little kid anytime Kathy would call her. So I guess that's why she wasn't defending her. But also, if Kathy was saying,
if Kathy was actually saying any of those things, defending Kathy would now lower Kyle to Kathy's level. Yeah. Because not only is she accepting the behavior, she's defending it.
Right.
And lying with Kathy in that defense. So why would you? I don't care. If my mom did that, I would be like, I would be differently. I'd be like, Ma, cut it out. You're embarrassing me. Right? It's something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't blame Kyle. But I'm not the biggest, Kathy Hilton fan either. So.
Yeah, well, I'm not a Kathy or a Kyle fan, so I'm not really a Kathy or a Kyle fan, so I'm kind of like, eh.
No, Kyle's a take or a leave.
Yeah, she's always a victim, but I mean, in this case, Kyle or Kathy did kind of come into her group and then like say shitty things about all of them, like all of Kyle's friends. So of course she's not going to defend her.
If you ever watch the old soap operas from back in the day, that seems to be like how Kyle acts. Like as like one of those actors, everything is a little more dramatic, everything is a little more special, everything is a little more than it needs to be, and so it has.
Well, she is an actress,
but it has this surface. Everything's fake on the surface.
Yeah.
Like I can imagine where that would get annoying for like everyone around that person, because it's just a lot to deal with.
Yeah. Kyle tells Garcelle that there is a time where you finally just say enough, and Kathy had lost her temper with her so many times and she was just kind of like over it, and so somebody gets up and hugs her. Was it Dorit? I think it was Dorit, like got up and comforted her, and then the healing journey ends, which thank God. At least it's out of the way now, right? We've got the healing journey for this season
healing
out of the way. I am so sick of healing journeys on all of these franchises.
It's kind of going to the well at this point.
Yeah, like all right guys, let's just stop. So we are now over at Sutton's store with her assistant Avi. Jennifer Tilly arrives, and we find out that her and Sutton are best friends, and they travel all over the world together and go to different fashion shows. I didn't know Jennifer Tilly is 65 years old.
Couldn't believe it.
I know.
She's good.
She does. Sutton tells us a story about one time when they were flying. Sutton put one of Jennifer's salted caramels in her ear because she thought they were earplugs, and they got stuck. Can you imagine?
No. I don't like sticky things. That would drive me crazy.
Oh my gosh, I saw an article today, I think it was on the Daily Mail or something like that, about this woman who was hearing a fluttering in her ear, and she went to the doctor, and guess what was in her ear?
Moth.
Spiders. Ugh. Yeah, she was like, oh my God, I'm never going to sleep again. I was like, no shit. I was going to send you the article. I forgot.
I'm good.
So they sit down for lunch, and Sutton is talking about how important her business is for her and how she wants to show her success to her ex-husband. And she tells us about how when she met her husband, they were both working, and once she got pregnant, he told her that she was not going to work anymore, and then she started getting an allowance from him, and then suddenly the allowance stopped, and she was like kind of financially dependent on him, and she's like, I am never gonna allow that to happen again.
Which is complete nonsense. She gets $300,000.
This is when they were married.
But she said that, as she said that.
Right, so she says she wants her financial freedom, but she would never give up her spousal support of $300,000 a month, because that would just be stupid. She's not wrong. So
thanks for wasting your breath and my time. I thought that was stupid.
When I realized that,
I thought like, wow, she makes all this money. Wow, she really built all this. I was hook, line, and sinker on with it. And then she goes, of course, I would never give up my alimony. I was like, wait a minute, what? And then when it's $300,000 a month, I'm like, you're making over $4 million a year.
He was poor when they met. Everything that
she deserves every penny.
Yeah.
To be clear.
Right.
But she can't say, I made it on my own.
Right, yes. That's what I'm like, who funded your store?
I'm 100% willing to say that $4 million is yours.
Right.
You earned it. It's yours. More even.
A year.
But you didn't build a business that's making you $4 million to your head. That's kind of how she plays it.
I agree. It was kind of like, I want to show him how successful I am. I'm
you're
like,
not successful.
But you're using, well, it might be. I have no idea whether the store's successful, but she probably used the money that she's getting from her.
I'm all for it. I told you, I like Sutton. But at that point, I was kind of like, come on, that was cheesy.
I thought it was a little cheesy, too. I'm not going to lie.
And she's smarter than that, actually.
Yeah.
I think she probably could make a business.
That's what she said. I want him to see me and be like, there's the smart. But why does she care? Yeah, I agree.
Why do you care?
I agree with you. Why does she give a shit what her ex-husband thinks?
Like, that's why we have rear view mirrors.
Right. I agree.
Put people like that
I agree.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I thought it was a weird statement, too. But, I mean.
Well, he has a lot of power over you if you say
still,
things
yeah.
like that.
Well, I mean, realistically.
I want to show him up, basically. Really? I mean, he's not worth it. He's not.
Yeah, I know nothing about him.
Take your $4 million and enjoy it.
Yeah, she does.
She does. I do love it.
I mean,
she would be a lot of fun. Like if you could be a friend with one of the housewives.
She's got like friends and like.
She would
all over.
She'd be first ballot. She'd be in the top 3 of my choices, I think, because she would be fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she does carry a bottle of vodka around in her purse. Who isn't fun?
It's not my business.
Travels. Vodka in her purse. So we're now at Erica's therapy session, which, whatever. And she's talking about how she is happy that she was not included in the indictments that came out for Tom against him. And her therapist tells her that she needs to learn how to have empathy so she can be a better friend. And then she asks the therapist how she can have empathy. So is she not... I was just like, whatever.
I get that from her, though. Erica Jane is not...
Well, she didn't have any empathy for the victims.
No. And if you think about Erica...
Maybe that was the point of that conversation.
There's 2 Ericas. There is the shell that we see, this hardened, crusty exterior. And then there's someone else in there, and we'll never see that person.
Well, she is fun. Like... You definitely, we've seen her in her fun stages.
I think
before.
That's still the shell.
You don't think that's real?
I think it's real. I mean, just because it's a different persona or I'm going to act this way in this setting, it doesn't make you not real. But I think that's what she does. She lives with so many shields and guards that it becomes this exterior shell. And you'll never, I don't think many people actually know who Erica Jane really is. I don't know. It's like she's invented this...
persona. Well, Erica Jane, is...
And so every little thing is meticulously crafted.
Right.
And so what is that but a wall, right? At the end of the day, it's look at this and not me.
Yeah.
Behind this person.
I mean, that's who Erica Jane is, a persona. So you're not wrong. Anyways, we find out that she was on Lexapro and she was mixing alcohol, but she's now off of it. So she won't be acting crazy, I guess, this season. She didn't give up the alcohol. She gave up the medication.
Give it time. We're on episode 1, yeah.
Over at Dorit's house, she is making a salad and a frozen pizza for Kyle, who's coming over. PK makes a funny comment. Dorit's making this frozen pizza, and she's like, I wonder if Kyle's going to want any of this pizza. And he goes, I don't know. Have you seen her photos lately? It looks like she'll just drink some water. And I'm like, is he saying that because he's implying that Kyle's thirsty and the photos that she's putting out on Instagram are thirst traps? And then we see the photo of her in her bikini that she posted. Or
no, I think
she's
he's
saying
checking
that because
out his wife's friend on social media.
Or did he say she needs water? She would only want water because she doesn't eat anymore.
That's what it is. Yeah. No,
I don't know. I thought he was implying that she was thirsty.
Kyle's lost a ton of weight.
Yeah, she has.
I think even like when we saw her last night, I was saying actually last night she's losing too much weight. And remember how Linda Cardellini, very pretty lady, but she's so thin, right? Her skin looks stretched over her face. Very, very pretty lady. And that's the thing. I think when you lose too much of your body fat.
Ozempic face, they call it. They actually call it.
That's terrible. Okay.
Well, I mean, Linda Cardellini was just, I think she had anorexia.
No, but she's super athletic, I guess. She's just like
I thought
crazy
she had
nut.
an eating disorder.
But, maybe. I don't know.
But the current reason for people to have like that saggy looking face is the Ozempic face.
You said saggy. I didn't say saggy.
Gaunty. Sorry.
She had some wrinkles.
Sorry, not saggy.
Her
Gaunty.
face looked stretched.
Whatever. Anyways, let's just move on.
Don't get me in trouble. We'll never book Linda on this show.
Yeah. What has she even done recently? She was on...
Maybe we will book her. I know. She needs she needs our tens of fans.
I don't think so. Anyways, so Kyle arrives and she tells us that she hasn't had a drop of alcohol in over 7 months after watching her behavior from the previous season. And then we see a clip of her grabbing onto Sutton, like yelling at Sutton, telling her not to talk to Diana Jenkins in a certain way. Yeah. And she's like, my alcohol was not doing me any favors, so I gave it up.
Well, it's wasted calories too. I mean,
it is. Yeah. I mean, I can get, like, if I drink too much tequila, I kind of get mean.
Yeah, tequila. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Well, that really helps your cause. Shut up.
Shut up, Sean. Dorit tells us that she's happy to see Kyle in a better place, even though it might not be where she wants to be with her sister. At least she's like getting resolution. Kyle tells Dorit that she saw Kathy at Sutton's holiday party and they were cordial. So that's good. They can be cordial around each other now. Which I feel like they've been through this before. This isn't the first time that Kyle and Kathy...
I've seen this episode.
Yeah, we've seen this show before. So Kyle says that she's in a place now where she's not going to let anybody walk all over her. And she didn't deserve the way Kathy was treating her. So she's kind of like, I'm not going to bend over backwards for her. Dorit tells her about how hard of a year she had and how bad her PTSD from the robbery was, and that PK was spending a lot of time over in London and she was feeling very disconnected from him and she wondered if they were actually going to make it. And Kyle's like, this is normal for people to have these thoughts, and you can either live your life and go a different direction or you put the work in and you end up staying together. So obviously this is going to be throughout this season. This is the storyline for Dorit and PK. Which is my guess is why they made that statement.
So didn't PK have financial problems in the UK?
Oh, big time.
Okay, and so now he has financial
problems. Now he has financial problems here.
So we've met people like that in our travels, and we have a word for people like that. Scammers.
Drifters,
scammers. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I think PK, Purple Lips, you're starting to move into that swim lane right now.
Yeah.
You're starting to move into the shyster. And
why is he in London all the time? Well, he did do that show. He did some like real estate show over there. I was listening to some podcast and they said they watched it and it was terrible.
That's got to be hard. I don't know why he was in the UK, but
business dealings.
Look,
business dealings.
I blow Dorito a lot of shit, and I do think that he's probably not going to do better ever.
No,
in
she's
his life.
Gorgeous.
So,
I know it goes beyond that,
but
but
nothing to do with how she looks. It is more her attractiveness, and overall, I mean, think about it. Does she love her kids? Yeah. Is she a good mom? Yeah. She's a good mom.
Her kids are very cute.
Does she dote over him? Yeah, she kind of does. Yeah. She dotes over him. So, bro, what are you doing? And then, by the way, she's very attractive physically, right? Mm-hmm. That's the third thing. But so you look at him and he seems pretty broken now, right? You got drummed out of the UK. You're getting drummed out of here now.
Well, that house that they live in, they don't even own it 100%. He's owns a very small percentage of it. I don't think he tried to portray himself as having all this money.
And I think that's hilarious because if you look at Dorit and you look at PK and you go, all right, Dorit, we know why you married PK.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
And then we look at PK and you're like, oh, and you lied to her? So basically, that is hilarious, right?
Yeah.
Is they both scammed each other.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess. Now we're with Garcelle and her sons, and they're at the beach for a picnic. They tell Garcelle that, well, the one does, Jax, I think, tells his mom that he doesn't want to go back and forth between his dad's house and her house anymore, and that it's too hard. He tells her that, he's like, you were gone for a whole year. And she's like, I wasn't gone for a year. I was gone for 3 weeks. He's like, well, it felt like a year. She's like, well, I had to work. And it's okay for you to tell me that you don't want me to go, even though it's probably not going to stop me from going because I have to pay the bills. Yeah. He's like, well, I just want more freedom. And she's like, well, I feel like you're not letting me parent you. And he's like, I understand that you want to parent me, but I needed you to parent me 2 years ago and not now. Now I know how to do everything. I was like, ooh, that was a little bit of a slam.
No, Garcelle's kid was out of his mind.
Yeah.
Typical 17-year-old.
He's 15.
That's even worse. So smart kid overall, right?
Yeah.
There's no wood behind the arrow, right? So he's gonna go places, and that was, I think, a momentary lapse of reason that he had there, because first he said a year, then he capitulated to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So already you're a bit of a maximizer. Right? She wasn't gone. He wasn't even gone a month.
Yeah.
You had her gone over 12 times longer than that.
Yeah. Well, maybe she was back and forth.
And then, frankly, as you sit there in your $1,000 sweatshirt.
Burberry sweatshirt. Yeah. Like, well, that maybe his dad bought that.
Complaining about your life.
Yeah.
Doesn't resonate. I tell you what, there's a couple countries here on the planet that we could probably take you to. You could really see what those people are going through. You maybe appreciate your mom and dad a little different.
Yeah, but I thought he was pretty mature about the way he talked to her. Granted, yes, I'm sure it was very hard for her to hear that, and it is kind of like, well, you know what? She's paying your bills, dude. So, like, you got a roof over your head. You're walking around in $1,000 sweatshirt.
And that's the thing. He's a very articulate person, but he has no idea when to just shut up.
Right, but you know what? As a mother, I'm sure that, like, just killed her. You know what I mean? Like, I can only imagine what it made her feel like.
Well, what? She's not supposed to go out and have a career?
No, but at the same time, she's going out and have a career, but now she's got a kid who's feeling like, she wasn't around. I'm sure that eats her up inside. But she apologizes for not being there enough. But again,
I would have told her not to. I would have said, acknowledge it and move on. You weren't there, right? You have to make a choice. I'm either going to be this type of parent and I'm going to provide for you this way. Or I'm going to be that type of parent and provide for you that way.
Yeah.
And she did try to strike a balance because she's only gone even if she's gone for a whole year.
Yeah.
Those kids are 15.
Well, he was with his dad, too. It's not like he was, like,
it wasn't like
home alone.
Right. You weren't at the orphanage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I think he was a little being melodramatic.
Yeah.
And I think she,
I loved how the other kid he wasn't saying anything.
No.
He was thinking about his girlfriend.
I don't blame him.
What was her name? Ashlyn or something?
I would have been with the brother because I think, that was... Kind of
she was like, you got anything to say? And he's like, I miss Ashlyn or whatever the girl.
That was funny.
It was like typical 15-year-old.
Yep. But they are both good looking kids.
They really are.
Very smart, very dripping with charisma.
Oh yeah, big time. We're now over at Kyle's house and she is waiting impatiently to film her scene with Mo. And he's on the phone planning his Coachella and golf schedule. And she's like, hey, like, hurry up. So
we have a Real Housewives scene.
Yeah, we have a scene to film. The crew is here. So he finally gets off the phone and he comes and sits down and he's telling Kyle how good she looks now that she's working out hard and eating well. And I'm like, I feel like he's reading off a script. Like, you're working out now. You've given up alcohol. He's like going through all these. And I'm like, this is such a rehearsed.
The whole thing was rehearsed, right? Her popping in, popping out, always on the phone.
Yeah. They
wanted to show the tension. And I can guarantee you the producer said, look, we want to capture a moment where Marissimo isn't paying any attention.
Why do you call him Marissimo?
Oh, so I know his name's Mauricio, and then when you called him Mo the other day, that tripped me up.
Marissimo?
And then Marissimo kind of stuck in. And then when I found out all the stupid stuff he was kind of guilty of, I was just like, I'm going to keep it at Marissimo.
So he notices a tattoo on her leg, and he's like, how many tattoos do you have now? And she's like, 5. And he's like, oh, I only knew about 3. So obviously these two are not seeing each other naked if he's not noticing new tattoos, right? Or at least that's what they're alluding to. That was what I got from that. And he's like, I think that's probably enough tattoos. And she's like, well, I might get one more. And he's like, well, I think you have enough. And he's like, love Bean. And she's like, yeah, no, I think I'm going to get one more. And he's like, well, I won't allow that.
Yeah,
I was like, fuck you. Yeah. Who are you to tell me what I'm going to do with my body? And then
if I said that, you would empty the can of mace in your purse in my face.
I'd come home with a tattoo across my forehead.
Nobody tells you.
It says, fuck you, Sean.
Yeah, nobody tells you.
Nobody tells me what to do. Not even me. But then what bothered me is he kept going, love Bean. Like that somehow was going to make her go, okay, you're right.
By the way, if that ever worked in their entire history of their relationship, Kyle, I'm taking a point off for you, girl.
I was like, terrible. Shut up, Mo. You and your love Bean. And I'm not even a Kyle fan, but I will say right here, if this was real, that bugged the shit out of me. That he was like, I'm not going to allow it. And then kept calling her love Bean to like somehow that was going to persuade her to not get a tattoo.
Well, as you know, I am a huge Kyle fan because she's just so insane. But I think...
well, she's a short brunette.
You like those. I do like short brunettes. I married a short brunette.
I know. Well, I'm not a brunette anymore.
But I think Kyle, it's going to be an interesting season. And I think... she's put up with a lot of crap.
I wonder if they filmed this scene after it came out that...
Oh, yeah. We should start trying to figure out what scenes
I wonder if they filmed this as a pickup scene.
Like, all of a sudden, like, for the whole episode, they're in, like, Christmas attire. And then for, like, one scene, everyone's in, like, Bahama Beach clothing. And then they're back in...
Well, you got to start looking at, like, different colored nail polishes that they're wearing or
They probably tried to the best of their ability to match it, but...
Kyle tells him that she doesn't need to explain what she's doing to him. That she went from being with her mom, who told her what to do, to being a mom and having to be a good example, and that she is at a point in her life now where she's just kind of like, fuck it. It doesn't matter what I do. Life never turns out the way you think it's gonna, so I'm just gonna kind of do what I want. He's like, well, don't become a rebellious person to do something out of rebellion. Do it because you want to do it. And I was like, okay.
So on that one, he's right. Don't go out and get a tattoo because you want to piss me off.
Yeah.
That's stupid, right? You want to prove
like
a point.
I would. I'd be like, oh, you said don't do that? Oh, guess what? I'm going to get like 10 now.
There's one on your forehead. Yeah, exactly. Don't be like...
Well, that would be me. Well, and then she's like, I'm not being rebellious. I'm just being clear. And I was like, what does that even fucking mean?
When she lost the ability to structure a sentence like that, I was like, okay.
She's just being clear.
When she wrote that, sometimes Kyle is so dumb. I wrote
That's your note?
Well, because she said that. To be clear... I'm not
being rebellious.
To be clear, I'm not being rebellious.
I'm just being really clear.
I'm just being clear. And I was like,
what?
What kind of circular nonsense was that? So at that point, and I don't mean to disrespect her, but that was dumb. On that time, and she does things like that.
I knew what she was trying to say, but it didn't.
Like, remember all those years she wore the wrong color lipstick? And we kept yelling at the TV.
Wrong color clothing.
And you kept yelling at the TV. Kyle, stop wearing that red. She wore
that red lipstick all the time.
And you drove you nuts. And then it was terrible, right? Mm-hmm. But she learned, right? And she now has. I was saying the other day at the reunion, her face and her lips are all just one color.
They're all pink.
Yeah, it's all pink now.
Well, her dress was too.
Everything is pink.
Well, that was just in the reunion. They always wear way too much makeup for the reunions.
I already said Erica Jane looked like the Tin Man.
Yeah. Anyway, that's how the episode ends. And so I forgot what the coming up. It looks like Mauricio's mom confronts Kyle about every time she opens Google that there's like headlines in the news about them.
I'm a country singer.
Yeah. And then looks like PK and Dorit are continuing down this bumpy road. So
yeah. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to this season. Like I said, this episode was a little slow for me. I thought the information that came out beforehand and the watch what happens live afterwards were a little bit more interesting, but
it helped with the context.
It definitely did help with the context of the episode. So that is all we have for you today for The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'll be back on Monday with the final part of The Real Housewives of New York reunion. We'll see how that wraps up. Then we have Salt Lake City on Wednesday. Yeah. Then we have Beverly Hills on Thursday. And then Miami comes out on Thursday after Beverly Hills, which I got to figure out the recapping for that, and Potomac. I guess I'm just going to alternate between the two. Yeah. That's a lot of Housewives shows for me to recap. All right, guys, have a good weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.